Hi guys, it's Steve from Vintage Classics, back again. Got a little one video for you today. It's going to be vintage football cards. I try to mix it up a little bit. Done a few hockey ones, quite a few baseball ones. Not as many football ones, but I grab a stack of, I don't know, about 30, 40 cards to show you today. Got my Mac Jones shirt on, uh, wearing an Alabama uniform, but I'm hoping for a big year from him, being a Patriots fan. I think Mac has been given a little bit of an unfair reputation, especially in the New England area after last season. He didn't really have much to throw to and didn't have the best offensive system under Matt Patricia, but hopefully it'll be a better year this year for the Patriots. I know a lot of you probably don't like the Patriots, but I grew up when I was a kid. They were bad. I mean, we had Jim Plunkett, Randy Pataha, and those guys, but we were terrible every year. Never had much to really look forward to. Those were the days of the Dolphins and the Colts, Redskins, Cowboys, Steelers, Raiders. So, but okay, we'll get started. I'm going to start off with a 1967. It's a Philadelphia card. Philadelphia was another company that made football cards for a while. Had some nice looking cards. The company didn't last long, but they did put out a pretty nice product. This is Merlin Olsen. It's card number 94. The back of it looks like this. All right, next up, I got a 1968 Topps, Ray Nitschke, tough linebacker. If you're a Packers fan, everybody you know all about him. But if you don't know about Ray Nitschke, he's a hell of a linebacker. Like I said, vicious tackler. Um, Dick Buckus and him, some very similar. Huff from the Giants, Sam Huff. But here's the Nitschke card. It's card number 157. And the back of it. Okay. Next up is a 1969 card of John Brody, the great 49ers quarterback. It's card number 249. Some of you got people that are a little bit younger, may not remember him playing, may remember him more as a broadcaster, but he was a good quarterback, very good. Okay. All right, next up is the 72 Roger Staubach, which is his rookie card. It's my copy is off-centered. I've had this card since 72 when I was a kid. Eventually, I'd probably get a grade. I should upgrade to maybe a better copy, one that's more centered. But like I said, it's been with me over 50 years ago when I bought it out of a pack. But here it is, card number 200, Roger Staubach's rookie. Being a military veteran, retired Air Force, Roger was a Navy officer, came out of the Naval Academy. So I have a lot of respect for him. I wasn't a Cowboy fan, but I liked Roger Staubach. Next is another great quarterback from that era, Broadway Joe from the New York Jets, Joe Namath. This is card number 100. Here's the back of it. Oops. It's funny, a quick story. My daughter's older now; she's in college. But when she was little, we were watching the Brady Bunch one time, and Joe Namath, as you guys know, made an appearance on one of the episodes, and she said, "Dad, isn't that the guy you told me about that you have a card of, Joe Namath?" And I said, "Yeah, that's him." But it was different to see him in that role. But he made an appearance. Don Drysdale was on that show. Everybody my age watched the Brady Bunch. So here's a 1969 Kellogg's, Johnny Unitas, Johnny U, with the high tops. You can't see him there, but he was a great quarterback, one of the greatest. Here's the back of it. I have a lot of Kellogg's baseball. I don't have a lot of Kellogg's football. I think I have this one, Merlin Olsen, and I might have Dick Buckus and stuff. I don't have a lot of them, maybe 2 or 3 of them, but they're nice cards. They're very hard to keep from cracking. So what I find the best way is I put it in a penny sleeve and I put it inside of a top loader to avoid it warping or bending so much. All right, next up is the guy I just mentioned his name, Merlin Olsen, 1971 from the Rams. Card number 125, part of the Fearsome Foursome. There you go. One of the first sets first football cards I really started collecting was in 71. It's about the time when I was really starting off and collecting cards. As you guys know from previous videos, I told you I started in 1970 with baseball, and 71 was my first little shot at collecting football cards. And I think I have the whole, about 95% of the set. Here's another 71, Fran Tarkington, then of the New York Giants. Later on, probably more famously became part of the Minnesota Vikings. Here's the back of it. All right, next up from the Miami Dolphins, 1971, Larry Zonka, card number 45. Here's the back of that one. Okay, another 71. You're going to see quite a few 71s, I guess, on the road. I didn't realize how many I pulled. Outstanding Washington Redskins quarterback, Sonny Jurgensen, card number 50. And you have the back. All right, another 71. Great Jets wide receiver, Don Maynard, card number 19. In the back. Okay. Next up, we have a 1975 infamous character here, O.J. Simpson. It's card number, even with my glasses, I can't read it. Card number 500. It's funny, the picture on this card right here, I'm sure some of you may have had the same thing. There was a poster when I was a kid. I think I got it through school. You know, you get used to, we had a bookmobile would come and you order books from Scholastic and stuff like that. Well, there was an O.J. Simpson poster, and it used to say, what was it? Miami might have the oranges, but Buffalo has the juice. And I actually had it in my room. Little did I know the type of guy he turned out to be, but that was O.J. Simpson. Next, this is a 76 card of Patriot great offensive lineman, Hall of Famer John Hanna, the Hog. There you go. I've got a Patriots helmet signed by him. I keep saying one of these days I'm going to show you around the room and show you some of the things I have. I'm mainly baseball, but I do have, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 mini Rydell helmet signed, and I have a full-size Roe Campbell helmet signed that I'll show you guys. All right, here's a 76 card of the Chargers great quarterback, Dan Fouts. Oops, card number 128. This guy really could sling the football. He played for Don Coryell. They called it Air Coryell, as a lot of you will remember. He used to be able to throw that football all over the place. Next is Dan Marino's rookie card from 1984. It's card number 123. And the back of it. All right, next up, you got a 1974 Roger Staubach again. Card number 500. I love the vintage cards. I say it all the time, but I mean, they're not flashy or like Marvel things to look at the way today's cards are, but the simplistic, just the basic, the way they looked, to me, I prefer the vintage any day. Next is a 73 Terry Bradshaw. If you meet Bradshaw and you talk to him, he'll always say he's the original TB12, but really funny guy. The back, of course, I got one of my inventory stickers on there. Sorry about that. It's on the it's not on the card. It's on the top loader. All right. Next up is a card that I had signed by Joe Montana. What year is this? I think it's 90 or 91. 90 score Hot Guns card. It's autographed by Joe Montana. I have the JSA certificate put away over there, and I keep all my certificates in one area, but that's signed by Joe Montana. Next, you got a Brett Favre rookie. It's a 91 Fleer Ultra draft picks. In the back of it. All right, back to the 71s. Oh yeah, there was a lot of them. 1971 great Jets quarterback Joe Namath. And the back. Another autograph card. It's a Swell card. Swell was they made a nice little set. If you were into this, was signed through the mail. I don't. I hope it's authentic. But it's a 1990 card, and like I said, they were all Hall of Famers. They put out a Hall of Fame set. But just the way the clear white border and the pictures on them made a perfect cards to have them sent off to be signed. But this was signed by the great Sammy Baugh, Slingin' Sammy. Here's the back. All right, next up you have Earl Campbell's rookie cards. It's 1979. It's card number 390. Last few cards, I forgot to say the card number. But that's Earl Campbell, the great Earl Campbell. Many of you guys will remember him, the way he'd run, his running style, dragging people all over the place. I remember watching him when he played at Texas, University of Texas, as a kid. Another card of O.J. Simpson, 74. I mean, obviously he wasn't the best, wasn't a good person at all, but you can't deny he was a hell of a football player, running back. All right, next up is old 00 from the Raiders, their center, 1972 card. It's Jim Otto. Back of it. Next is in my opinion, the greatest running back in the history of the NFL. Hands down. It's a 1964 Philadelphia card. It's the great Jim Brown. In the back of it. Funny thing about the 64 Philadelphia cards is I think, if not all of them, but most of them, maybe it is all of them. Cleveland Brown players all had that Cadillac that you see behind Jim Brown right there. In some form or another, pretty much every Browns player has that in the background. So, just a little story for you. I forget where I read that. Next up, you have a 1976. I'm sorry, 77. Mixing my cards up. Walter Payton, who is he's definitely the top 3 running backs of all time. Like I said, Jim Brown's the best. My own choice would be Jim Brown. You got Gale Sayers, you got Walter Payton, you got Emmitt Smith, you got Earl Campbell. There's been so many great running backs over the years. I'm sure I'm leaving some out that you guys may bring up, but great running back. 1974, Johnny Unitas, pictured as a San Diego Charger. He's actually got a Colts uniform on, and as you guys know, in their card products back then, Topps would airbrush mainly baseball, but they've changed the hat and the uniform. But you can see that that's a Colts uniform, that the numbers have been painted San Diego yellow on there. So that's the great Johnny Unitas. All right, next up you got a 1773 Miami Dolphins, great running back Larry Zonka. I keep using that word great, but all these guys, I don't know how else to describe them. Just really, really good ball players. 1972. I showed you Ray Nitschke earlier. I said that another guy was a violent tackler and stuff was Dick Butkus. Well, here's Dick Butkus' 72 card from the Chicago Bears. All right. Then we have a 1972. Nice thing about the 72 set was they had cards that were called in action, where they had certain players, they'd have their regular card and an in-action card. Well, here's Johnny Unitas in action. It's card number 251. And there's the back of it. I like the action shots from back then. Here's a 1974 Terry Bradshaw, card number 470. Quarterback of that great Steeler Dynasty teams that really dominated in the 70s. I got my best friend, Dan, huge Steelers fan. Hates my teams, but what do you do? But he's a giant Steelers fan. Always gives me a hard time about Bradshaw being better than Brady, which we won't argue that. We can argue that because Brady, to my opinion, is the greatest. But Bradshaw was a great quarterback. Here's another Steeler great, Joe Green, 1976. All right. Here's another one I told you about, the 72s in action. This time it's Roger Staubach from the Dallas Cowboys. Going up against the New York Giants in that picture. There's the back of it. All right. Almost at the end here. 1972, Miami Dolphins, great wide receiver Paul Warfield. That was a dominant team too in the 70s, the Dolphins. Being a Patriots fan, we had to play them twice a year. And I told you our teams were terrible, so we had no chance against the Dolphins then. But it was fun watching the players they had. Here's another one right here, another pro action card of Bob Greasy, the Dolphins quarterback. And the back. All right, 1972, Dolphins' great offensive lineman, guard, Larry Little. I like that stance. He's ready for anything right there. There's the back of it. All right. Last card to show you today, 1973. I was a huge Patriots fan. I know I tell you a million times, but I also, believe it or not, I was a Raiders fan. I like the Raiders also. And here's their quarterback, number 12, the great Kenny the Snake Stabler. There's the back. Well, that's what I have for you today, and just about 30, 40 football cards to show you. Hope you enjoyed seeing some of them. I'll try to show you a different variety. Maybe I'll do basketball next time. Try to mix it up a little bit. Most of my collection is baseball. If you notice, most of my videos, I just enjoy showing them, and so many of these videos now I find on YouTube, people telling you how to invest and all that stuff. But you know what? It's what you want to collect. What makes you happy. That's how I look at it. If your collection is it's a part of you. It's what you enjoyed collecting, or what you caught your eye and you really liked. That's what makes it special. That's what makes it you. So I do watch all different types of them. I mentioned a number of times I enjoy John Mangini's. Sometimes I don't agree with all of his opinions, but that's what makes the hobby special. But I do agree with, he said some recent ones about investing and collecting, the differences and stuff. And I'm totally about collecting. I'm not an investor by any means. I don't do it for the money. I got roped as a 7-year-old kid, and here I am, 53 years later, still doing it because I just love the cards. It brings me a lot of enjoyment. And that's what the whole hobby it should bring you enjoyment. That's what it's about. It really irks me when I go to a store, like my wife and I were in Walmart the other day, picking up a few things, and up by the register they got all the cards and stuff, and you see the prices of these boxes now, and for the most part, kids today, I mean, how are they going to afford to pay? And that's just at Walmart. If you go to a card store and you're going to get the hobby version of cards, you can expect to pay a lot more. It's just that it's just like pricing the kids out of it. The card, that's the fun. The days of, I know that when I collected, they were 10 cents a pack. We'll never go back to 10 cents a pack. But I mean, it's like they're making this more of an investment hobby, where adults are all about chasing certain cards. They don't care about building sets or putting them away because they like the player, or they like the design of the year of the cards. They're about chasing the dollar bill on there. And if that's what that's what they're interested in there for, and we have to have we have to have collectors and investors for the hobby to thrive, I think. But in my opinion, it's the fun. So I love when I see a kid there with his dad, and they're buying a few packs and stuff. Because that's what it's all about. But for a young kid, a 10, 11, 12-year-old trying to build a set or want to start collecting certain cards, it's hard because the price on these products is way up there. So. All right, well, I guess I rambled on enough for today, but I thank you, as always, for watching my videos, because you have so many to choose from. You definitely don't have to pick mine, so when you do, I'm honored that you watched it. I always say my famous saying, keep on collecting, and, collect what you like. And until we talk next week, probably next Monday. I usually make these on Mondays. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you then. Take care. Bye.